Michael Principe is joining us. He's a professor of political science at William Paterson University. Michael, good of you to join us. First of all, the map, as you see it, as you understand it, and as it's being voted within tonight, do you think, first of all, do you think the map was fair?
I think it's fair. I don't think it necessarily changes too much of the options for people to run and win in the election. I think the problem is in terms of who you select to run in those positions, in those races. That's the real problem.
There are those who say, we've had this discussion earlier this evening, that the map, because it favors incumbents in some ways, does not encourage competition and may drive people away from the vote, from going out and voting for the sake of saying, essentially it's a protest of non-vote, by saying, you know, there's no competition here, there's no new faces here, I'm not interested. Do you buy into that notion?
I think part of that is accurate. I think there are problems with that, but I think another problem is, as Professor Kelly said earlier, is that neither party did a good job of reaching out to the electorate and getting those issues out there for people to consider and to debate. There wasn't an excitement in this election. I think that's the party's problem.
Do you think it became an election of personality where the governor's charisma or political force overwhelmed the issues?
That may be part of it, but I think the governor, to a large extent, stayed out of the election. He didn't campaign as much as many other governors have done in the past.
We've got two districts that really have been, I guess, the poster children for the race and the challenges, the 38th and the 2nd, of course. The way the Republicans targeted these candidates, it differs from district to district, but I assume you've had a chance to see some of the literature or some of the ads. How would you characterize the race?
Well, it seems like they're getting nastier by the minute. There are a number of the campaigns now seem to want to really extend the animosity against each other, and oftentimes to the point where you're not really addressing the issues. And I think that alienates the voters as well.
There is also that, I want to talk about the judges a little bit, because the governor certainly made headlines by taking on the judges as regarding pensions. We haven't spoken about the pension issue all that much yet, but our viewers should be aware that we certainly will, because obviously that became one of the major issues more recently. But the fact is that in addition to the battle against the judges in terms of their pensions, there's also been some consternation in some points that the governor is sitting back right now and watching a Supreme Court suddenly evolve into a court that has no minorities. Give me a sense of your take on that.
Well, it's true. There are 7 justices on the New Jersey Supreme Court, 5 women. It's one of the few states in the entire United States that has a majority of women on the Supreme Court, but they're all white, 5 women and 2 men. And there's an obligation, I think, to have different perspectives on the bench. It's essential that you have that. Not so that you represent so much a certain group, but that you present a perspective during deliberations. New Jersey is one of the most interesting states to study. There are over 8 million people in the state. There are 566 cities, and yet the largest city in New Jersey has approximately, I think, 300,000 people. So the population is dispersed dramatically. You've got over 40% of the population are minority. You need to have, within the deliberation process, all these perspectives brought into the room where the justices are thinking about and deliberating over issues. If you only have a white perspective, I think you're missing out on part of what needs to be done during deliberation. So it's essential that the governor consider that when he's naming he's going to have 2 people to name in March. Justice Long is retiring, and of course he has to replace Justice Wallace. So those are issues that are essential.
All right, Professor Principe, we have to leave it there. We'll be talking to you later throughout the evening. We thank you for being available to us.